Chapter
NK
601, Escape of the Zhao Brothers. It seems you really forgot.
Lu Yiming curled her lips disdainfully.
Ahem, knowing it now is not too late. Su Feng coughed twice and pretended to be calm. If I did not remind you, you would never know. Lu Yiming lifted her chin. No need to mind such details. Su Feng chuckled. Details decide success or failure,
she replied with false solemnity.
Su Feng fell silent.
He shook his head bitterly and began working on the pearls with a military knife, carefully digging small pits at both ends, then heating a thorn to pierce through. When the first bead was done, more than 10 minutes had passed. He picked up the second bead to continue. The girl chatted eagerly with Li Dudu, the questions once unclear now resolved. Time flowed, night deepened, a breeze rose outside the window. Let us stop here today, continue tomorrow. Yun Han stretched her body, sitting too long was tiring.
All right.
Li Dudu smiled, considering it another form of thanks.
Su Feng, what are you doing?
Yun Han glanced around and saw him by the stove,
watching the fire. He calmly hid the bead and knife, adding a few logs. Another 3 or 4 hours of smoking should be enough. Yun Han tiptoed to check the crocodile meat. Okay. She sweetly answered, patted his head, then quickly ran downstairs with clothes. Su Feng laughed. Was she imitating his head pat? He moved to the window, vaguely saw pairs of green eyes outside. Still not leaving? He smirked, took the goat horn bow and bamboo arrows. Question mark. As he drew the bow, he noticed the red wolves had already fled. So fast. Li Dudu regretted. She activated the night camera but only saw them leaving. Very clever. Su Feng hung back the bow. Your killing aura scared them, she said seriously. You were just expecting me to hit one, right? He teased her. Let us say so. He returned to the fire. Crackle. Su Feng, do not cook too late. Yun Han gently reminded. Hard work. She shyly pursed her lips. Silly girl, go to sleep. He smiled. Good night. Her soft voice rang. Good night. Time slipped away, stars filled the sky, tomorrow would be fine weather. The stove crackled, sparks danced. Ah. He yawned, in his mind came the command, mark. The 186th day. He muttered, only 2 more days until the 7-day reward. He glanced at the sleeping girl, picked up the pearl to continue. Valentine's Day was near, he must hurry. Early morning sunlight pierced through the bamboo into the hideout. Go. Zhao Lei twitched, swatted a fly, and slowly opened his eyes. Ah. He yawned and looked around. Chen Jishi and He Xiong were still asleep, but his younger brother Zhao Loi was gone. Where did he go? He frowned and stepped out. Looking around, he still did not see him, while his stomach growled. Clatter, clatter. How long since we ate meat? He muttered, unable to recall. Brother, over here. His brother's voice sounded. He turned to see Zhao Loi waving with a bamboo basket. Zhao Lei glanced back at the sleepers, then went over. What are you doing? He asked low, noting tools and wild greens in the basket. Of course we are leaving, come. Zhao Loi said firmly. We are leaving? Zhao Lei asked dumbly. Yes, waiting here is pointless. His brother pulled him out of the bamboo grove. Indeed, I forgot how long since we ate meat. Zhao Lei sighed. After the deer hunt they had only greens. They just do not want to hunt. Zhao Loi said. Why? Zhao Lei frowned. Fool, they want to drive us away. His brother curled his lips. Is that so? He asked, puzzled. That man invited us before, now he wants to expel us, I must settle it. Zhao Lei cursed, wanting to turn back. Can you beat He Xiong? Zhao Loi asked angrily. Then follow me, without us they will live better. He kept walking. But where now? Zhao Lei hurried. Over the other hill, I do not want to meet them again. Zhao Loi said firmly. All right. Zhao Lei agreed. The two walked toward the hill, leaving Chen Jishi and He Xiong asleep. Chapter 602, Just as I wished. Tran Shihai irritably waved his hand, scratched his messy hair and sat up. The buzzing of annoying flies still lingered by his ear. He Xiong also opened his eyes, originally a man of strict routine, but since entering the wilderness his sleeping time had grown longer. Where are the Zhao brothers? Tran Shihai frowned, glancing around, noticing the shelter felt much larger with two people missing. They must have left. He Xiong stood up, face calm as he looked around, realizing some tools were gone. Items like bows, knives, and the iron pot had disappeared. He searched inside and out, everything the Zhao brothers brought was missing, luckily his own tools remained. Why bother chasing them, this suits me well. Tran Shihai said coldly, at least they were sensible enough not to take what was not theirs. The bamboo shoots and wild vegetables are gone too. He Xiong said blandly, the dried shoots from 2 days ago in the bamboo basket were all taken. He sighed, voice deep, fine, we will dig more. He Xiong cracked his neck and crouched down to light the fire. Find some wild greens to fill the stomach, after breakfast we hunt. Tran Shihai ordered, craving the taste of meat. He Xiong responded without raising his head. Head to the meadow across, maybe we can catch a deer. Tran Shihai rubbed his sunken cheeks, cheekbones protruding from lack of nutrition. Got it. He Xiong replied again, body thinner yet still stronger than Tran Shihai. How many days have we been on Black Moon Island? Tran Shihai sighed. He Xiong stayed silent for a while, then said, 186 days. Then 179 remain. Tran Shihai pouted, half a year and his body was already this weak, how would he survive the next half? He had He Xiong tending the fire, knowing his physique could last 3 or 4 months more, but without enough meat and nutrition, the end would be hard. Do not worry, we will find a way. He Xiong said firmly, then turned and went into the bamboo grove to dig wild vegetables. Oof. Tran Shihai muttered, thinking if the next half year relied on him, the relationship must be managed. Elsewhere, So Fong and his group finished washing and were having breakfast. So Fong, what will we do today? Van Han asked gently. Loosen soil in the garden and add fertilizer. So Fong stuffed the last piece of meat into his mouth. What, still using that? Lu Waimong stood straight, face displeased. Ha ha ha. So Fong burst out laughing. Could you not discuss this while eating? Lu Wai Thursday pursed her lips, staying quiet. The young girl covered her mouth, giggling, indeed it was not pleasant table talk. After a while, So Fong went downstairs, entered the storage, first checked the waste pit connected to the bamboo toilet pipe, no cracks found. He opened the lid, a foul stench rushed out. Truly unbearable. So Fong wrinkled his nose, went upstairs, then returned with tissues stuffed in his nose. So Fong, let me help you. Van Han said muffled, her nose also blocked with tissue. Prepare the ash. So Fong said softly. All right. Van Han turned to gather ash. So Fong took a deep breath, grabbed the long hook, and began the arduous task of cleaning. What is that smell? The tent flap opened, Li Du walked out with a can, clearly just finished breakfast. So Fong turned, glanced at her can, and smiled apologetically, sorry, I did not know you were eating. No problem, I am done. Li Du replied, then glimpsed him hooking waste, nausea rising, she hurried back inside. Weak resolve, needs training. Lu Waimong commented like an old sage. Lu Wai Thursday twitched her lips. I know. Lu Waimong hummed as she crossed to the stream, rolling sleeves and pants to squat and weed. Lu Wai Thursday tilled with a trident made of bone.
This method was invented by So Fong, drilling holes into a stick, fixing ribs, then adding a long pole, creating a trident for tilling.
Enough. So Fong nodded. Shall I pour it all? Van Han loosened the tide. Sakin asked.
The cauldron was half filled with water, the pit cleaned. The girl poured ash into the vat, So Fong stirred the waste, urine, and ash, making homemade fertilizer.
Let me help carry.
Van Han wrinkled her nose, hesitating to reach.
No need, let me handle it.
So Fong gently touched her nose, then lifted the cauldron, steady steps carrying it to the stream.
Creak.
The tent opened again, Li Dudu emerged with a camera, a blade of grass between her lips.
So Fong, time to water.
Van Han pouted behind him.
All right. So Fong smiled dotingly, rolled his pants, used the hook to spread fertilizer over the garden. The girl weeded and tilled, trying to finish ahead of him. Does everyone really use this as fertilizer? Li Dudu hesitated, unable to step into the garden.
They busied themselves, the sun climbed high, nearly 2 hours later the garden was neatly arranged.
Chapter 603, The True Big Boss. You did not even touch it, so how could it have a taste? Van Han asked suspiciously. It is just an illusion.
So Fong sniffed his hands, only then did he smell it.
No, I want to dive. Lu Waimong cheerfully walked from the spring and jumped into the pool. Hee, I also want to bathe. Van Han happily jumped in, clumsily swimming back and forth.
Be careful not to hit each other.
So Fong reminded. Okay. Van Han answered with a radiant smile. I will bathe a little too.
Lu Wai Thursday pursed her lips, stood up and jumped in, the cool spring water soaking her body made her nearly cry out.
Okay.
So Fong rinsed his hands and feet, then jumped in too, splashing water all over the three girls.
Dung sister, come too. Van Han called. Wait a moment.
Lai Dudu hesitated, fixed the camera, then jumped in without hesitation.
Let us play splashing water.
Lu Waimong suggested, then splashed water at So Fong.
I join too. Van Han laughed and joined.
Wait, do not splash me. Lu Wai Thursday tried to resist but still got drenched. Here, take this. The five played wildly in the pool, under the wooden roof and the cool water, until noon they finally rested.
I am so tired, I want to lie down. Van Han lazily climbed onto the float and lay still, not wanting to move.
You rest, I will cook some wild vegetable soup for you.
So Fong smiled, they still needed nourishment, the best way was food. Do not soak too long, or you will turn into an old lady. So Fong reminded before leaving. Will we really turn into old ladies? Lai Dudu asked nervously.
He means the skin will wrinkle.
Lu Wai Thursday explained. I often soak in the tub, my fingers wrinkle, why is that? Lai Dudu asked.
Because the epidermal cells absorb water and expand. Van Han explained, it was taught at school. Human skin wrinkles after soaking because the epidermis has keratin that absorbs water and swells.
Fingers and toes wrinkle more clearly because their skin is thicker. So that is it. Lu Waimong and Lai Dudu nodded.
Books. Although you will not really become old ladies, soaking too long still harms the body.
Van Han said gently. I will soak more, my fingers have not wrinkled yet. Lu Waimong dived again. Half an hour later. Stop swimming, come drink the soup. So Fong called from the hut. Okay.
They hurriedly climbed out. The four girls squeezed water from clothes and walked barefoot back.
Change clothes first, or you will get sick. So Fong reminded while tidying bowls. Yes, right away.
Van Han grabbed clean clothes and hid behind the screen. The sisters Lu also took clothes, preferring to change behind the screen.
So comfortable. Van Han came out first.
She saw Lai Dudu busy with the camera, quickly handed her clean clothes. Dung sister, you are too tall, you can only wear So Fong's clothes.
Oh, I can keep mine.
Lai Du blushed and refused.
No, you will get sick. Van Han insisted, stuffing clothes into her hands.
Soon, a scream came from behind the screen.
Heavens!
Lu Waimong's words were cut off.
Shut up, Lu Waimong. Lu Wai Thursday scolded.
The viewers spammed comments.
What happened?
Send a drone to check, we are worried, not peeking.
Come on, behave.
A while later, Lu Wai Thursday and Lai Du came out blushing. Lu Waimong followed, upset.
What happened? Van Han asked. Nothing.
Lai Du tugged her wide shirt, embarrassed.
Van Han, I tell you, Lai Du is the real big boss. Lu Waimong winked. Big boss? Van Han did not understand. Lu Wai Thursday glared at her sister, who raised 3 fingers, then she looked away. So fragrant, smells like chicken soup.
Lai Du exclaimed, it was her first time seeing So Fong cooking soup.
Drink quickly, before it cools. So Fong urged. Okay.
Van Han lifted the bowl and drank. Besides the soup, So Fong also cooked crocodile meat with mushrooms and wild greens, enough for 5 to eat full.
As delicious as before.
Lu Waimong praised while eating. Half an hour later, they finished and put down chopsticks.
Eating so much again is embarrassing.
Lai Du blushed and burped.
No problem, ask me if you do not understand.
Lai Du said seriously, at least her Mandarin was strong.
Yes. Van Han nodded cutely.
Chapter 604, The Discreet Thoughts of Nan Nunak. Nan Nunak sat in front of the wooden hut, holding a fan made of leaves, her short hair pinned up, leaving only a lock across her forehead to cover the scar. She lightly waved the fan and weakly said, Sister, it is too hot.
I am hot too.
Nan Ton Nok sat beside her, holding a handful of leaves, but the breeze was faint.
What should we do? I feel like I will get sunstroke soon.
Nan Nunak tilted her head, pitifully looking at her sister.
A calm mind will feel cool, breathe deeply and exhale slowly. Nan Ton Nok inhaled calmly. Is it useful? Nan Nunak asked doubtfully. Try it and see.
Nan Ton Nok tried to steady herself, but sweat only increased on her forehead. Sister, only dead people can stay calm, then of course they feel cold.
Nan Nunak pouted in annoyance. Ha, really?
Nan Ton Nok laughed awkwardly, but her eyes were filled with joy. Her younger sister had become brighter, speaking and joking, far better than before.
Sister, in such heat do you still want to go hunting?
Nan Nunak waved her fan, the wind blowing up the hair across her forehead.
Yes, the meat is almost finished.
Nan Ton Nok sighed, only a few days' worth of meat remained.
What if we get sunstroke? Nan Nunak asked softly, in this weather the chance was high. Drink more water and it will be fine.
Nan Ton Nok comforted her.
Nan Nunak sighed, if only there was rain, it would be much cooler. Sister, will we stay here until the contest ends?
Nan Nunak tilted her head. Sister, this place is too far from the hunting ground, each trip means climbing up and down the mountain, consuming much energy, and we must eat more to make up. Nan Nunak counted on her fingers while analyzing. 2 days ago, when fetching water, they noticed the stream was lower than before, perhaps from the blazing sun. Nan Ton Nok looked in surprise. Had her sister thought all this? What is it? Nan Nunak waved her hand before her sister. Nothing. Nan Ton Nok regained herself, then asked, these are real problems, but moving is not easy. Sister, you are thinner than last month, can you endure half a year like this? Nan Nunak asked calmly. Isn't thin good, the body looks slimmer. Nan Ton Nok teased. If thinner, your body will collapse, I understand that. Nan Nunak said seriously, though she felt guilty, as her sister always gave her the meat. Each hunt might fail, every empty trip consumed strength, but nutrition could not keep up.
We still have the rabbit. Nanton Nak's eyes lit up. Sister, besides the one we are raising, did we catch any other rabbit? Nan Nu Nak asked quietly. No. Nanton Nak's eyes twitched. After the first catch they had no more, no matter the trap. She suspected there was only one rabbit from the start. If we move, where shall we go? Nanton Nak asked softly. I do not know. Nan Nu Nak shrugged helplessly. Let me think. Nanton Nak lowered her head. Why did I never notice you were so clever? Nanton Nak looked at her sister in wonder. Because you never noticed. Nan Nu Nak pouted, still waving her fan. Yes, I did not take good enough care of you. Nanton Nak admitted. Sister, that was not my meaning. NK Books. Nan Nu Nak murmured. I know, but it is true. Nanton Nak sighed. Nan Nu Nak fell silent. Tomorrow let us not hunt, instead look around the mountain. If we find a suitable place, we will move. Nanton Nak said after thinking. I will go with you. Nan Nu Nak quickly clenched her hand. All right. Nanton Nak agreed. Her sister could also give good suggestions. The water source is most important. It is best to find a place like this. Nan Nu Nak said softly. In summer, they could swim and catch shrimp in the stream, making the season less harsh. All right. Nanton Nak patted her sister's hand. Next is safety. We can build fences. Nan Nu Nak whispered. All right. Nanton Nak nodded. Also we must check for animals to hunt nearby, if not, then go further. Nan Nu Nak continued. Yes, this needs a field survey. Nanton Nak admitted she was better at hunting and building tools than thinking ahead. Nan Nu Nak touched the scar on her face, softly asked, Sister, can we endure to the end? We can, trust me. Nanton Nak nodded firmly. Seeing her sister change made her even more certain. Yes, actually it is fine, just cover it with hair. Nan Nu Nak smiled, brushing aside her bangs. Yes, let us endure together. Nan Nu Nak smiled with dimples, reaching her hand to her sister. Clap. Fighting. Nanton Nak nodded seriously, her hand meeting her sister's. Chapter 605, The Great Explorer. This must be expressed in past tense. After dinner, Li Dudu, Van Han, and Lu Wai Thursday sat around the wooden table, carefully studying the foreign language. What is past tense? Or past participle? Lu Wai Mong soon gave up, got up, and left. She glanced around the wooden house, murmuring, Where did So Fong go? Creak. Lu Wai Mong raised the torch, pushed the door, and walked downstairs. I came to see what you are doing. Lu Wai Mong turned with a gentle smile. The rabbit is giving birth again, give them more hay. So Fong raised the hay in his hand. Ah? Giving birth again? Lu Wai Mong was surprised. Yes, 1 litter a month is normal. So Fong smiled, putting hay into the bamboo cage. This is strange, unless the other rabbits start giving birth too. So Fong shook his head. Raising so many rabbits, in fact only one gives birth each month, the rest stay quiet. The others are freeloaders. Lu Wai Mong muttered. She raised the torch forward, saying, If next month there are no births, then we will eat them. What? Rabbits are no longer cute, you want to eat them? So Fong teased. Yes. Lu Wai Mong blushed, then calmly said, This is called survival of the fittest, the weak are eliminated. Makes sense. So Fong smiled, not arguing. After giving the rabbits hay, the two returned to the cabin, the 3 girls still immersed in study. So Fong, how is the necklace? Lu Wai Mong winked, asked softly. That is good.
Lu Waimong smiled, put out the torch, then hugged Mao Caw. It enjoyed being played with.
So Fong, come and study too. Van Han called out. No, spare me. So Fong laughed bitterly. Really?
Van Han pouted, then bowed her head into the sea of knowledge. So Fong sighed, sat on the large bed, leaning against the headboard, using a military knife to work on wolf teeth. The teeth were very hard, the knife left only faint marks. He planned to carve patterns and drill holes. Time passed quickly. Van Han stretched and said, Sister, let's stop here for today.
All right, we continue tomorrow. Li Du licked her lips, stood up.
Lu Waimong, wake up, go sleep on the bed. Lu Wai Thursday sighed, pushing her sister who was sleeping on the table.
Ah. Okay.
Lu Waimong startled awake, still dreamy.
Everyone, sleep early, it is late. So Fong quietly put the wolf teeth into his pocket.
He went to the window, gazing at the starry sky. Tonight he must stay up, the necklace must be completed.
Early the next morning, bright sunlight. Van Han had already risen, the aroma of breakfast filled the cabin.
So fragrant. Lu Waimong rubbed her eyes, waking up by the breakfast scent. Then So Fong and Lu Wai Thursday also got up, washed downstairs, sat around the table. Even Li Du was pulled along.
So hardworking. Lu Wai Thursday gently said. Thank you. Li Du quickly stood, receiving the ceramic bowl. So Fong, what will we do today? Lu Waimong asked while eating soup. Go out, head upstream. If not, then stay at camp. So Fong raised his brow. And you too?
So Fong smiled, looking at Van Han and Lu Wai Thursday.
Follow you, we can learn more survival skills. Lu Wai Thursday whispered. All right, after breakfast we go. There are still many areas upstream not explored. So Fong decided.
Yes, sir.
Van Han joked with a salute. Li Du paused, looked at So Fong. Will we stay outside overnight today?
No, we return before dark. So Fong replied gently.
Okay, then bring one spare battery. Li Du muttered.
Far away, past the small stream, was the old camp of Lu Van Trake. The area between there and their camp was still unexplored. Perhaps there would be good things. Thinking this, after breakfast, more than half an hour later, they took tools and set out.
The area ahead had been explored, so they went straight into unknown land.
Over 2 hours later, So Fong slowed, then stopped, turning back. Rest a while, the next road needs caution, stay alert.
Okay. The four
NK
girls replied,
books.
Putting down their baskets to drink from bamboo tubes. So Fong, here. Van Han handed the tube.
Not tired, consider it training.
Van Han laughed, sitting by So Fong. Give me your shoe, it is loose.
She bent, took off his shoe, grabbed hay, and patched it.
Still wearable, not a problem. So Fong smiled.
No, loose shoes can sprain ankles.
Van Han said seriously. All right. So Fong smiled, letting her repair.
7 or 8 minutes later, she stopped, put the fixed shoe in front of him. Van Han clapped her hands, said, Done, try it.
Yes, fits well.
So Fong stood, walked a few steps, the shoes felt better.
Good. Van Han nodded. Let's go, continue. So Fong clapped.
The great explorer Lu Waimong will lead everyone to uncover the secrets of this mountain forest.
Lu Waimong faced Li Du, pretending to give a speech. Chapter 606, Kudzu Route. Just now, how was it, does it look alike? Lu Yiming giggled at her sister. Not at all.
Lu Yizhu replied without hesitation.
What, it looks exactly the same. Lu Yiming pouted and shouted. Ah.
Embarrassed, Lu Yiming shut her mouth and protested with her eyes.
Wait for me a moment. Lu Yiming held back her excitement and quickly followed with Li Du. Crack. Bang bang.
The girl struck bushes and weeds with a stick to drive away hidden snakes.
The 5 of them headed into the forest, the terrain uneven and rugged. There are quite a few mushrooms here.
Sorfing stopped, spotting many mushrooms on a fallen branch.
Could it be like last time, with a giant python hiding inside?
Van Han froze, afraid to go forward.
Good, pick all the mushrooms, the amount is not much. Van Han relaxed, bent down and began harvesting.
The Lu sisters helped, while Li Dudu recorded. After more than 10 minutes, the mushrooms were gone, leaving only a bare trunk. Sorfing, there are chicken mushrooms here.
Van Han soon found several more. Dig them out. Sorfing said gently, considering rebuilding a cultivation room. Okay.
Van Han carefully dug them out.
Let's go, look ahead.
Sorfing held his chopping knife, leading forward. After 10 more minutes, he stopped, a patch of strong vines full of yellow bristles before him.
This is kudzu, so many. Lu Yizhu exclaimed. Kudzu? What is that? Lu Yiming asked. Kudzu, its root is traditional medicine, called kudzu root.
Sorfing smiled, today was fruitful. Kudzu is a vine that can reach 8 meters, its root used in medicine, cooling thirst and treating illness.
It cures fever, back pain, measles, sudden high fever, weak spleen, diarrhea. So it is traditional medicine. Lu Yimeng nodded. It is medicine, but to me, it is food. Sorfing smiled. Huh, food? Lu Yimeng was stunned.
Of course, it can be made into kudzu starch, a premium starch.
Sorfing explained. Yes, indeed it can be made into kudzu starch. Lu Yizhu added.
Kudzu starch, also called kudzu powder, comes from the root containing 20% starch, used for premium starch, making cakes, noodles, even desserts.
Premium starch?
So starch has grades.
Li Dudu nodded, remembering. And it can make cakes and noodles?
Lu Yiming rolled up her sleeves, shouting, then what are we waiting for, dig.
I will dig here, see who gets more. Lu Yiming grabbed the shovel, digging along the vine. You will surely lose badly. Sorfing said firmly. Not necessarily, there is only one shovel. Lu Yiming said smugly. Really?
Sorfing smiled mysteriously, then grasped the root, suddenly bursting with immense strength. In the shocked eyes of the 4 girls, he pulled out the kudzu root.
Huff huff.
Sorfing breathed heavily, hands sore, smiled bitterly, seems I cannot rely only on brute strength. The roots were too developed, even immense force struggled. The root he pulled out was thigh thick, over half a meter long, with a wrist-thick broken end, showing more underground.
I will not compete, you are a monster.
Lu Yiming pouted, shouting, seeing him pull such a huge piece.
Ha ha ha, fine, I will dig, faster.
Sorfing reached for the shovel.
Here, let the man handle heavy work. Lu Yimeng quickly gave it, masking her words.
Sorfing smiled, took the shovel, digging at the broken root.
This is kudzu root, looks like tree root.
Van Han picked a piece, wiping the soil off.
Can this make noodles? Li Dudu asked curiously. Of course, Sorfing does not lie. Van Han nodded firmly, she knew the basic process. So it was this long, no wonder hard to pull.
Sorfing dug over 1 meter deep, retrieving a half-meter root. Sorfing, there are still many kudzu vines, at this pace we will dig till dark.
Lu Yizhu looked around.
The more the better, slowly, after several times we finish.
Sorfing laughed. Yes, if not today, then tomorrow.
Van Han clenched her fist, happy for more starch. Plant starch is rich in nutrition, with protein, vitamin C, vitamin B1, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium,
potassium.
Eating 100 grams daily may reduce stroke risk, and to some extent inhibit colon cancer.
Chapter 607, An Unusual Opening. So Fong, drink some water and rest. Van Han handed over the bamboo tube. All right. So Fong took it, raised his head and drank deeply. So Fong, the baskets cannot hold anymore.
Lu
NK
Waimong clapped
books.
her hands clean. They had brought 4 baskets, too big too small, now all filled with cassava roots.
Then let us stop for today, next time we dig more. So Fong looked at the sky, estimating the time. Yes, since they have no legs, they will not run away.
Van Han laughed, gently wiping So Fong's forehead with her handkerchief.
The Lu sisters turned away, feeling it too intimate. After half an hour, they carried the heavy baskets back along the path. We should make marks, otherwise weeds will cover and we will not find the spot. Lu Waimong carved on a branch. Explorer Lu Waimong passing through here?
Lu Wai Thursday twitched her lips.
Fine, I remember the way. So Fong stopped her.
The group of 5 left the forest, following the stream downstream. After more than 2 hours they would return to camp.
Place the cassava here, wash them first. Van Han unloaded the basket by the stream. All right. The Lu sisters answered. So Fong, how to handle the cassava flour? Van Han asked.
Very simple, like Indian canna, just cassava has more fibers.
So Fong said. I understand.
Van Han nodded, carefully cleaning.
So tonight I cook again? So Fong teased. No, let me.
Lu Waimong stood up, drying her hands.
Then it is yours. So Fong laughed. But cassava roots are fibrous, how to grind them? Lu Wai Thursday frowned. Correct, we make a grindstone. So Fong nodded. What? Lu Wai Thursday froze. Viewers burst with comments.
As expected of So Fong, even his solution is hard. Pfft, making a grindstone sounds easy. From his mouth, not surprising.
Indeed, hardness is his signature. Truly So Fong.
Van Han covered her mouth laughing.
A grindstone, how will you make it? Lu Wai Thursday asked. Got it.
Lu Wai Thursday pouted, thinking he is mysterious again.
I know already. She suppressed curiosity and continued washing cassava. After half an hour, shouts came from the wooden house. Everyone, dinner is ready.
Soon, the 5 including Lai Du sat around the table.
Tonight's meal looks rich. So Fong praised. Of course, let me introduce. Lu Waimong announced. Welcome.
So Fong clapped, sensing an unusual dinner.
Hee, the first dish is Blue Dragon Crossing River, grand name right?
Lu Waimong said proudly.
So just wild vegetables soup? Lu Wai Thursday asked calmly. Hee.
Van Han covered her smile.
Cough, no imagination. Lu Waimong rolled eyes. Amazing, must be delicious.
Lai Du looked with expectation.
Continue.
So Fong squeezed his thigh, holding laughter.
Lu Wai Thursday looked at seaweed salad, then at her proud sister, speechless. 3,000 troubles threads? Lai Du frowned. So Fong commented, a fitting metaphor. MMHM. Van Han nodded. Finally, the dish fierce dragon hunting prey.
Lu Waimong lifted the lid.
Crocodile stew? Fierce dragon? Lu Wai Thursday gave up. What is fierce dragon hunting prey? Lai Du asked confused. Cough, anyway it tastes good. So Fong lied. Lu Waimong, has your cooking regressed? Lu Wai Thursday whispered. If it is for laughter, you succeeded. Lu Wai Thursday smiled faintly. Certainly.
Lu Waimong lifted her hair, drank the soup.
The soup is indeed tasty. Lu Wai Thursday admitted.
Chapter 608, Overbearing Aura Intimidation.
Still hard to peel.
Lu Waimong pursed her lips, using the military knife to scrape cassava skin.
The military knife is the best tool.
Lu Wai Thursday rolled her eyes, holding a short blade made from fawn, though it could scrape the rough skin, the efficiency was too low.
Sister Thursday, maybe use the engineer shovel, sharper.
Van Han spoke softly, after all, the shovel of iron was sharper than Fong blades.
All right.
Lu Wai Thursday stood up, found the shovel, cleaned it, then continued scraping.
So Fong finished peeling, cut cassava into small pieces, stored in the clay jar for drying tomorrow. Time flew, night was deep.
After finishing, under So Fong's urging, they washed and climbed to the big bed.
So Fong, you too should rest early. Van Han tilted her head, reminding with care. You sleep first, I will bathe.
So Fong stood, helped her pull the sleeping bag, pinched her nose, then took clothes to wash. After about 15 minutes, he returned with wet hair, the girls already asleep.
Again staying up late.
He wiped his hair, sat near the stove. The pearl necklace must be finished tonight, for tomorrow was Valentine's Day. He brought out half-finished pearls, 8 with holes, and 2 wolf teeth.
Carve a wooden pendant too.
He chose a small block, carefully carving with the military knife. Time passed, the pendant shaped like a cloud, with the small letter Han inside.
Hoo-hoo!
Done, he braided hibiscus bark and banana fiber, strung pearls, teeth, and pendant.
Will she like it?
He glanced at sleeping Van Han, heart uncertain.
He
yawned, washed hands, commanded in mind, mark. The familiar screen appeared, number 8 glowing. Then the system voice rang.
Ding! Marked 7 days, gained 7-day gift pack.
His spirit lifted, he smiled, undressed, and climbed the bed.
So Fong hug me.
Van Han murmured, lips parted, rolling into his arms
books.
by instinct.
He smiled, she clung like an octopus.
He held her waist, ordered, open the gift.
Ding!
Plant dye crafting experience.
Basic. Ding! Overbearing aura intimidation. Basic. Ding! Vocal skill experience. Basic. 3 chimes fell, his spirit cleared. This pack seems good. He thought. Ding! Plant dye experience transmitting.
Pain struck, knowledge and visions poured into his head.
He calmed, sorted it. Plant dye making, used for luxury cloth. Seems useless. He muttered. Aura intimidation? He read. Active skill, forming aura field, causing fear in nearby beings. If facing wolves, he could use it to scare them off. Excited, he ordered, open aura intimidation gift. Ding! Aura intimidation transmitting. If possible, he wanted to curse. TSS. He hissed, gritting teeth, grasping bed edge. Van Han frowned, nearly woke. Luckily the pain receded, he gasped for breath. Again nearly killed me.
He laughed bitterly, wiping sweat, hair-drenched.
Hoo-hoo!
Strange, his body unchanged.
Only spirit changed?
He muttered, finding nothing different, he suppressed doubt.
He breathed deep, ordered, open vocal skill gift. Ding! Vocal skill transmitting.
Pain struck again, but milder, lasting less than a minute, then ended. The system changed his throat, letting him make many sounds. The pack contained knowledge, animal cries and meanings, all imitable.
Also odd sounds like engines, drums. A useful skill. He grinned, already thinking of uses. Chapter 609, very captivating. No.
Van Han wrinkled her delicate nose, her long lashes fluttered, then she opened her eyes, the dark pupils clearing.
Morning.
So Fong smiled gently, his voice warm.
So Fong, good morning. Van Han blushed, surprised that his voice sounded softer today. Here, a gift for you, Happy Valentine.
So Fong reached into the clothes, pulled out the necklace he made last night, and held it before her.
Ah, Valentine? A gift for me?
Van Han was stunned, her eyes moist, her heart sweet as if filled with honey.
Not happy? So Fong asked nervously. No, I love it.
Van Han replied softly.
Then good, let me put it on you. So Fong exhaled, calming his nerves. Okay. Van Han answered sweetly.
So Fong released her hand, gently fastened the necklace around her neck. It hung perfectly at her collarbone.
So pretty. Van Han looked down joyfully.
I did not expect you to remember Valentine, I even forgot.
Of course. So Fong felt guilty, without Lu Waimong's reminder he would forget. Thank you, I love it.
Van Han tilted her head, looking at him sincerely.
Good.
So Fong pinched her cheek gently.
Next year too? Van Han smiled. Every year. So Fong answered firmly. Hee, then I will cook breakfast. Van Han blushed, left the bed, put on shoes, and happily went downstairs. Worth it.
So Fong smiled, the hard nights were not wasted.
Lai Du came out of the tent, curious. Ah? What makes you so happy? Ah? That necklace looks beautiful, who made it? She noticed quickly, staring at Van Han's neck.
Van Han only smiled, lowered her head to hide her smile.
So Fong, right?
Lai Du's gossiping heart burned.
Van Han's voice was as soft as a mosquito. She winked. Are you together now? No, not at all. Van Han answered shyly. Ah?
Then you must hold on, so Fong is rare, even I feel moved.
Lai Du half joked. Really? Van Han asked in surprise. Hee, of course I am joking.
Lai Du laughed, the girl was still naive.
I see. Van Han sighed in relief. But So Fong is truly captivating.
Lai Du reminded, then went to the restroom.
That I know.
Van Han murmured, then washed wild vegetables for breakfast.
Ah? Van Han, where is that necklace from? Lu Waimong asked in mock surprise.
Lu Wai Thursday also looked, indeed the necklace was on her neck, not there last night.
Van Han glanced at So Fong, then replied, So Fong gave it. Ah, Valentine's gift. Lu Waimong shouted. Valentine? Today?
Lu Wai Thursday frowned, counting the days.
Yes, today. Van Han smiled. I see.
Lu Wai Thursday pressed her lips, looked at her sister, but saw no strange expression.
Sister, why are you looking at me? Lu Waimong asked. You are fat. Lu Wai Thursday teased.
This is not fat, it is full.
Lu Waimong pouted. Yes. Lu Wai Thursday agreed. Breakfast passed in laughter.
By the stream, Van Han filled jars with cassava, clean stones, pressed roots into water.
How long to soak? She asked gently. Not certain, until soft. So Fong replied. Okay. Van Han nodded, filled other jars.
They had cut much cassava yesterday, filling 5 jars.
I will go out for a while, back soon, do not go outside. So Fong said. Where? NK Books. I want to go too.
Lu Waimong shouted excitedly.
To find stone for grinding, can you carry it? So Fong laughed. Such big stone, I cannot.
Lu Waimong admitted shyly.
Be careful on the way. Van Han urged. Got it. So Fong answered without turning back. Crack.
He stepped on a branch, walked deeper into the forest, remembering a mountain with stones fit for grinding. Alone, he moved fast, hiding his aura, not fearing sudden danger.
The road usually took over 2 hours, this time only half an hour, showing his terrifying speed and endurance.
Last time he came here was more than half a month ago. He spent another half hour choosing 2 stones, similar size, irregular shape. Need to knock off the edges. He murmured, picking another stone, striking to shape them rounder. After nearly an hour, the stones looked like circles. Then he tied them with rope and sticks, preparing to carry back. Chapter 6:10, Crafting the Grindstone. Inside the wooden house it was too hot, so the 4 girls sat by the pool, under the wooden canopy for shade, dipping their feet to cool down. Lidudu also sat nearby, holding dry grass to practice making straw sandals for herself. First twist into a crooked shape, then roll it again, like this and then like this. Van Han held her hand to teach patiently. All right, let me try. Lidudu focused seriously, though her hands were clumsy. You must learn slowly. Van Han smiled wryly. By the way, is today really Saturday? Lu Wai Thursday asked softly. Yes, it is Saturday. Lidudu nodded. The mission was halfway done, only 7 days left before leaving. I wonder how Anna is now. Lu Wai Mong recalled the blonde curly-haired girl who fell into the water. She should still be in the hospital, maybe watching our live stream. Lidudu looked up at the hovering drone. Quite possible. Van Han smiled brightly, waving at it. In the live room, viewers sent barrages of comments. Look, the little lowly is greeting me. Nonsense, she is greeting me. Creak. The gate was pushed open, so Fong carried a stone inside. Ah, so Fong, you are back. The 4 girls turned, the one in front joyfully ran barefoot to him. Wait, let me put on shoes. Van Han blushed and turned, unwilling to let scars mark her feet. So Fong, are these materials for making a grindstone? Lu Wai Thursday asked curiously. Yes. So Fong set the stone down by the stream. What is a grindstone? Lidudu asked. A grindstone is an old tool used to grind grains. Van Han explained. Nowadays grindstones are still used for soy milk, but rarely, since machines are faster and easier. I see. Lidudu half understood, but was curious. How will you make it? Lu Wai Mong tapped the stone. Without tools, how could he? Just hammer slowly. So Fong said calmly. Sounds too easy. Lu Wai Mong pouted. It takes strength. So Fong returned to the house, fetched a chopping axe, and picked a palm-sized pebble. He planned to use the axe as a chisel, the pebble as a hammer, slowly carving the grindstone. Its structure was simple, 2 round stones stacked, with patterns on their contact faces, grains poured from above into the gap, ground into powder. Though the axe was not as good as a chisel, his carving skills made it effective. Bang bang bang. The yard echoed with steady chiseling. So noisy. Lu Wai Mong covered her ears, eyes fixed on his muscular arms. What are you looking at? Lu Wai Thursday asked softly. Looking at muscles. Lu Wai Mong replied without thinking. Are they nice? Lu Wai Thursday raised a brow. Kind of. Lu Wai Mong came to herself, smiled awkwardly. I will go braid sandals. So Fong, this way is too exhausting, better to use mortar and pestle, though troublesome. Van Han covered her ears. Since it is troublesome anyway, make a durable grindstone, later we can grind other plants. So Fong replied. Makes sense. Van Han shrugged, sat to watch him. He controlled each strike, for a mistake could shatter the stone and waste effort. Time passed, the chiseling continued from afternoon till evening. The girls returned home to cook, the sisters Lu changed water in clay jars to keep soaking. So Fong, not done yet? Lidudu asked gently. Almost, only the core left, soon. He replied without looking up. The core? Lidudu was puzzled. I see. She scratched her head. So Fong, come eat first, then continue. Van Han called from upstairs.
All right, coming. He paused, hungry and needing strength. He washed his hands at the stream, looked at the darkening sky. Come, let us eat together. He called. Okay. Li Dudu nodded, comforted that she would learn more tonight. They returned, the girls had set the table. Sit down quickly. Van Han smiled, pulling Li Dudu to sit. On the wooden table were 5 dishes, meat and soup, hot and cold. Really? Lu Waimong narrowed her eyes. Of course. Van Han avoided her gaze. Then let us eat. Lu Waimong grinned. I said so. Van Han muttered, glancing shyly at So Fong. His lips curved, perhaps this was her way of returning his gift. Chapter 611, The Shadow. After breakfast, So Fong continued chiseling the whetstone under the torchlight, planning to finish it tonight. Bang bang bang. Time passed slowly. After more than 2 hours he finally dropped the axe in the stone. Books. Let's see if it works. He held 2 whetstones, washed off the stone dust in the stream. Almost forgot, need to attach a lever. He clapped as he recalled, then went to the shed. Soon he returned with a polished stick, fixed it to the edge of the stone, making a handle to move it with less effort. After setting it, he tried pushing. Under the surprised gaze of the 4 girls, the stone moved, squeaking. How is it, tiring? Van Han asked. For me it's light, but for you? So Fong chuckled. Let me try. Van Han rubbed her hands, grasped the lever. Don't show off. So Fong warned. Relax, my strength isn't small. She smiled, then pushed with both hands. Squeak. The stone shook slightly, moved just a bit. Forget it. So Fong rubbed his nose awkwardly. No axle, hard to move. Really that hard? Lu Waimong asked excitedly. Hoo. Van Han stood panting, annoyed. So Fong, you made this stone only for yourself? Cough, this kind of mill is usually pulled by donkeys. He explained. So you mean you're better than a donkey? Lu Wai Thursday remarked, refusing to try. His mouth twitched. Let me. Lu Waimong stepped up, breathed into her palms, then grabbed the lever. Huff. She inhaled deeply, pushed hard. Squeak. The stone turned slowly, half a round, 1 round, 2 rounds, then stopped. Amazing. Van Han clapped. She's strong indeed. So Fong thought, remembering he hadn't used any tonic yet. How could there be a donkey on this island? He sighed. Guess I'll do the milling myself. What about the fawn, could it pull? Van Han looked at the corner where it hid. Cough, it's not grown yet. Lu Wai Thursday said. Though taller, its strength was weaker than her sister, and unreliable for work. All right, I'll pull it. If we catch a goat later, maybe it can help. So Fong said, placed his hands on the lever, easily turned the stone. The fawn couldn't, but a goat might. It's late, go wash and sleep, staying up harms skin. He gently urged. Okay. The girls answered, returned inside for washing in clothes. He glanced at the stone, then went to the shed, cut bamboo into 2 pipes, placed them on the whetstone for drainage. At dawn the next day, Van Han was woken by birdsong, yawning. She carefully slipped from his arms, picked up her pearl necklace, smiling as she wore it again. She always removed jewelry at night, fearing it might hurt So Fong. Morning, embraced the sun, full of energy. She went downstairs, saw the rising sun, recalled a popular phrase online, chuckled proudly. She sat in the west yard, brushed her teeth. After 10 minutes, done, she took bow and arrows. Still early, So Fong and others would sleep for more than an hour, so she practiced. Long since I practiced, am I still accurate? She murmured, drew bow, aimed at the gate. Whiz!
The arrow flew, hit the gate, but not the spot she aimed.
Seems I regressed.
She muttered, drew another. She practiced for 20 minutes, arms sore, had to stop.
First, lift the cassava roots.
She stored the bough, removed the stone from the jar, poured water away.
Back at the cabin, she took a bamboo mat, spread it on the cement floor, laid cassava roots evenly. At noon we can start making flour. She clapped, washed the jar, left it to dry, then prepared breakfast. Van Han, up early today?
Luai Thursday came from behind the screen, dressed, helping with the fire.
Ah, the birds woke me. Van Han replied, placing the pot on the stove.
She looked out the window, saw a dark shadow flash down, followed by a loud crash under the cabin.
Not sure, something just fell from the sky.
She muttered, turning back to the window.
Chapter 612, The Bald-Headed Sea Eagle.
Its sharp talons pierced through the rabbit's neck, leaving it no chance to resist.
Is that a hawk?
Yun Han was stunned, then quickly shouted.
Su Feng, wake up, a hawk is stealing our rabbit. What? Su Feng opened his eyes groggily, still not fully awake. There is a hawk, hurry, the rabbit is about to be taken. Yun Han cried again in panic. A hawk? Where?
Su Feng regained his wits, jumped out of bed without shoes, and rushed toward the door.
Over there, it is about to fly.
Yun Han pointed outside the courtyard window.
Humph, you want to take my rabbit and escape?
Su Feng frowned, braced on the window ledge, and leapt down from the cabin.
Unfortunately, before he could approach, the fierce bird had already taken flight.
Louis Mang leaned on the window, squinting at the shrinking black dot in the sky, and exclaimed.
Such a huge bird. My rabbit, hateful.
Yun Han pouted and stomped her foot.
What a pity, just a step too late.
Su Feng sighed helplessly.
What bird was that? It looked very much like a hawk. Yun Han asked curiously.
It is a type of eagle, called the bald-headed sea eagle.
Su Feng explained.
The bald-headed sea eagle is also called foolish eagle, bald vulture, bald-headed hawk, or silver-headed eagle. It is a large raptor, growing up to 1 meter long with wings spanning over 2 meters. They mainly hunt sturgeon, large salmon, seagulls, waterfowl, and small mammals. This eagle also holds special status as the national bird of Jingjin country, protected by law. So it is a foolish eagle, no wonder it came to catch rabbits.
Yun Han grumbled.
This bird has 2 hunting methods, one is to hunt directly, the other is to observe where other raptors gather, meaning food is there.
NK books. Thus it saves energy while still getting delicacies. Stealing prey has become its habit. Do not be angry.
Su Feng gently rubbed the girl's puffed cheek, soothing her.
Next time it comes, it will not escape. Yes, we must catch it, best if we can tame it, then it will bring us rabbits every day. Yun Han said innocently, raising her fist. I will give it a try.
Su Feng smiled tenderly, for others this was hard, but for him, possible. The girl stomped her foot again, then turned to continue preparing breakfast.
Ah. Su Feng grinned, still tired after being woken.
He took his washing things to the stream nearby.
Li Dudu emerged from the tent, hair messy, and asked innocently. Su Feng, what just happened? Sorry for waking you, there was an eagle just now. Su Feng explained briefly. Too bad we did not catch it. Li Dudu pouted, still sleepy. Nearly 1 hour later, after breakfast, they gathered in the yard. Su Feng, come turn the millstone. Yun Han rolled up her sleeves, ready to make cassava flour. No problem.
Su Feng replied softly. The Lu sisters helped wash the roots, while Yun Han fed the mill.
Clack clack clack. Su Feng pushed the stone, and the girl placed cassava roots into the grinder. With each turn, the cassava was ground into fine paste. Add some water, just like making soy milk. Lu Yimeng suggested.
Yes, water is needed, later it must settle to separate fibers and impurities. Su Feng said gently.
I will fetch water, Lu Yizhu whispered.
She carried a ceramic jar to the stream, filling bamboo tubes of water after each root.
Clatter! Clack clack clack. It really looks like soy milk, Yun Han exclaimed happily. By noon, all the cassava was ground.
Su Feng dismantled the stone and washed it clean in the stream.
Su Feng, help move the cauldron, Yun Han called. All right.
Su Feng reassembled the mill, then fetched a cauldron from storage, placing it on the stone ground. The girl and the Lu sisters poured cassava slurry into it, added water, and stirred with wooden sticks.
In the afternoon we will change the water again, Su Feng said.
I have never eaten it, but it should not taste too different,
Su Feng guessed. I tried it, cassava has no flavor, sugar must be added, Lu Yizhu commented. Sugar, but we do not have much left, Yun Han sighed.
Su Feng patted her head kindly.
Honey will work too. But honey is also almost gone, Yun Han muttered. Su Feng laughed helplessly. In a few days I will check if the hive is still there.
But there are bears,
Yun Han said seriously. Then wait until the bear is not there. Su Feng chuckled.
Earlier on this island he would not risk it, but now even crocodiles were handled, so why fear a bear?
Yun Han glared, annoyed. How do you know when the bear is away?
Do not worry, I am sure,
Su Feng vowed. Actually, I want to taste what bear paw is like. Bear paw, what is good about that?
Yun Han frowned, swallowing unconsciously.
You will know when we try it, Su Feng replied calmly. Chapter 6:13. Do you want me to help you? The sound of rustling echoed. Sister, are we going far today?
Nan Nu Nok asked while pushing aside the bushes.
Yes, we may have to spend the night outside,
Nan Ton Nok replied as she walked. The sisters had reached the foot of the mountain, heading east to an unexplored area.
All right.
Nan Nu Nok looked back at the mountains. If not for water and hunting problems, the wooden house there would be very comfortable. Watch your step, be careful,
Nan Ton Nok gently reminded. Okay.
Nan Nu Nok obediently replied, carrying a vine-woven bag with mushrooms and wild vegetables.
I wonder if we can find water to the east, Nan Ton Nok murmured. She decided if they could not find a suitable place today, they would delay moving and go hunting instead. They advanced eastward with difficulty, their pace slow. The sun tilted westward, it was about 4 in the afternoon, the sunlight softer. A rumbling sound came. Sister, did you hear water? Nan Nu Nok shouted. Water?
Nan Ton Nok stopped, tilted her ear. Indeed, she heard water flowing. Her eyes lit up, pointing ahead, she said excitedly, there is water, it seems to come from over there.
Then let's go quickly, Nan Nu Nok said happily.
Slow down, beware of beasts, where there is water, beasts will come too. Nan Ton Nok held her sister back.
I know. Nan Nu Nok nodded.
Take the knife, if danger comes do not panic, follow me, I will protect you, Nan Ton Nok said sincerely, drawing her bow and setting an arrow.
All right, Nan Nu Nok answered seriously. They pushed through bushes, watching closely for signs of beasts. Nan Ton Nok led, slowly approaching the sound of water.
After a few minutes, a small stream appeared, its clear water showing fine sand at the bottom.
This place is good. Nan Ton Nok checked around, no danger in sight.
The stream had flat banks, stones scattered, tall trees shading most sunlight, making it cool.
Let's make this our new camp, Nan Nu Nok quickly said. All right, let's begin.
Nan Nu Nok stood up, shaking water from her hand. Tonight we stay here, tomorrow we fetch things.
Nan Ton Nok put down the bag. I will gather dry grass and wood. Nan Nu Nok eagerly entered the forest. Do not go far, call me if needed. Nan Ton Nok warned. Got it. Nan Nu Nok answered without turning. NK Books.
Nan Ton Nok smiled faintly, recalling her sister's past. She cut wood to build a shelter before dark. Time passed, the sky dimmed. By the stream, she lit a fire. Behind stood a simple A-shaped hut. The iron pot boiled with wild vegetables and meat, their dinner.
Nan Nu Nok spread dry grass inside the shelter to keep damp away. Nu Nok, dinner.
Nan Ton Nok called.
Nan Nu Nok smiled, sister, with so much water, we can bathe every day.
Before, on the mountain, water was scarce, they bathed once every few days, in winter melted snow, but the cold made it rare.
Nan Nu Nok's stomach growled as she sat down. Eat?
Nan Ton Nok laughed with affection.
Okay. Nan Nu Nok took chopsticks, blew on the vegetables. Eat more, take me too.
Nan Ton Nok urged.
Sister, you eat too. Nan Nu Nok snapped. Yes. Nan Ton Nok replied.
After a while, the vegetables decreased, only meat remained.
Nu Nok, eat the meat. Nan Ton Nok said. You eat, I cannot finish. Nan Nu Nok muttered. Only a few pieces, cannot finish? Nan Ton Nok frowned.
There are 6 pieces, 3 each.
Nan Nu Nok divided them, stuffed her share, threw the chopsticks, and went into the hut. Nan Ton Nok smiled bitterly, ate the rest. She washed the pot, cleaned it with charcoal, and refilled with water. Nu Nok, do you want to bathe tonight?
Nan Ton Nok asked.
Yes. Nan Nu Nok answered quickly.
Sweat and sticky hair made her uncomfortable.
Turn off the drone. Nan Ton Nok said. All right. Nan Nu Nok controlled the bracelet to shut it down. Do you want me to help you bathe?
Nan Ton Nok asked.
No, I am. Grown now. Nan Nu Nok blushed. Really? Nan Ton Nok frowned. Really? Chapter 614, Make a reclining chair. After dinner, everyone gathered in the yard. So Feng, it should work, right? Van Han leaned on the cauldron, watching the water turn clear halfway. Yes, let me do it.
So Feng carefully lifted the pot, pouring out the excess water.
Rumble. Van Han poked the powder sand and muttered, looks a bit dirty. Scrape the surface and it will be fine.
So Feng smiled, using bamboo to scrape off impurities, revealing clean gray-white powder sand.
Now it looks better, though a bit hard. Van Han nodded with satisfaction.
Dry it, then press into powder, and it is done.
So Feng chuckled, the pot still had much left, enough to fill a ceramic jar. Let me handle it.
Van Han went upstairs for a wooden spoon, scooping carefully. Pour here, it should dry tomorrow.
Luitha spread banana leaves on the cement ground. Okay.
Van Han poured the sand into the jar, pressing with the spoon so it dried faster.
By the way, Indian canna can also be harvested, right? Lu Imeng asked.
True, I do not want sore hands either.
She mumbled. He. Imeng playfully stuck out her tongue. Looks like cornstarch. Li Du commented with the camera. Looks similar, but feels different.
So Feng explained, cornstarch was loose, powder sand felt granular.
Tomorrow we can taste it, as the main dish? Van Han asked with a smile. Yes, starch food can be the main dish. So Feng replied. Great idea. Van Han's eyes lit up. Since Anna left they had not played mahjong. Watch me dominate. Imeng cheered. Careful, or you will lose badly. Ithu warned. Just wait and see. Ithu smirked. Early next morning.
The wooden door opened, Van Han stepped lightly downstairs, going to the creekside to check the sand.
Is it dry yet? So Feng came too. He had woken early.
He remembered yesterday pointing at the bald-headed eagle. If another rabbit was taken, the girl would be furious.
Not yet, maybe dew made it wet.
Van Han touched, still damp. So Feng glanced at the sky and said, "Dry it more, soon it will be ready."
Yes.
She spread the sand again.
After finishing, she went upstairs, soon bringing washing things back. "Wash up first, maybe it will not come today," she said. "Still be careful, or if the eagle takes the rabbit, someone will cry." So Feng pinched her nose playfully. "Ha ha." He laughed, taking the brush and towel to wash. "Brush, brush." Van Han mumbled with the toothbrush. "So Feng, what for breakfast?" "Eat stew, we have not had it lately," he answered. "Okay." Clack clack.
She rinsed her mouth.
"Here, go upstairs, I will guard." So Feng washed and handed the brush and towel back.
"If it is troublesome, better cage the rabbit,"
she suggested. "That will wait until we catch the bald eagle."
He smiled confidently.
"Okay," she replied sweetly, then went to prepare breakfast. A reclining chair would be nice. So Feng muttered, sometimes glancing at the sky. "If thought, then do it." He smiled, entering the warehouse, pulling out wooden bamboo.
In the room, spectators commented wildly.
"So Feng is action type, thinks then acts."
Not surprised, even if he built an aircraft carrier.
"Hope he remembers me." "Hey! Someone driving crazy here, I got evidence." So Feng checked the sky again, ensured no eagle, then returned, picked up the axe. "Make one for 4 people lying down," he murmured, starting to process
NK
wood.
Books.
Reclining chair needed curves, so bamboo must be bent with fire, fixed with ropes.
He cut bamboo 2 meters long, burned, bent it half a meter, curved to 60 degrees, tied with rope. Then he cut wood 2.5 meters, used as backboard, shaved bumps, stripped bark.
Tack tack tack. The axe rhythm echoed. "Ah."
Li Du poked out of tent, sleepy. "Morning, So Feng."
"Good morning."
He laughed, often forgetting she stayed under the cabin.
"No problem, I should get up, lately too lazy."
She waved with a smile, recalling first days she always woke early, but now slept more.
Chapter 6:15, The Way to Eat Kudzu Starch.
So Feng swung his axe to chop wood, processing each log while the sun slowly rose higher in the sky.
"So Feng, come in for breakfast."
Van Han leaned on the windowsill, smiling as she called.
"All right." So Feng looked up and smiled, then washed his hands clean in the stream and turned back to the cabin.
Inside, everyone sat around the wooden table having breakfast.
"Swallow first before you speak."
Lu Wai Thursday glanced at her sister and whispered.
"For now, nothing can be seen."
So Feng replied gently.
"Was it frightened by you yesterday?"
Lu Wai Mong teased after swallowing her food.
"Maybe."
So Feng curved his lips, recalling how he had jumped from the upper floor yesterday. It was indeed a bit frightening.
"If it does not come, then let it be, no need to guard against it all day." Van Han pouted innocently. "If it cannot find other food, sooner or later it will return."
So Feng said with a smile.
"Then if we go out, we must lock the rabbit, otherwise everything will be eaten." Van Han said nervously.
"Later we will make a rabbit cage, it can be kept together with the wild chickens."
So Feng suggested.
The warehouse still had much space, only needed to build a wooden frame around, then rabbits and wild chickens could be raised inside, far more spacious than a small cage.
Half an hour later, after finishing breakfast, they went out into the yard. 1, 2, 3.
Van Han counted the rabbits on her hips. These wild chickens, after 1 or 2 months, should be ready to eat, right? Lu Wai Mong crouched before the cage, inside the wild chickens caught from the Rocky Mountain, now much larger.
"Can we not eat one now?" At least one male.
Lu Wai Mong said pitifully. A male can be eaten, but we should keep 1 or 2 for breeding.
Van Han said generously.
So Fong chuckled, shook his head, picked up the axe, and continued working with the wood, planning to finish the lounge chair before the rabbit cage.
So Fong, I will help you.
Lu Wai Thursday said softly.
Got it.
Lu Wai Thursday turned back into the cabin, carried down the remaining rope, which would be needed for both the chair and the cage. So Fong found a new log and began making the lounge chair frame. Everyone divided tasks clearly, and by noon the lounge chair was almost complete. The chair looked more like a large bed, with one end curved up to form a backrest.
So comfortable.
Lu Wai Mong was the first to lie down, rolling around, yet the chair remained firm. Sister Mon, get up quickly, it is dirty and must be wiped first.
Van Han urged gently, holding a cloth in hand. Let me help you.
Lu Wai Mong quickly stood, wet the cloth, and carefully wiped away with chips and dust. So Fong smiled, then took the axe under the cabin, cleaned up the debris, and prepared to build the rabbit cage. The cage was simple, rope tied the wooden sticks layer by layer onto the frame, leaving a gap about 2 fingers wide. First, So Fong cut the sticks to equal length, then fixed them with cross knots.
Let me help, 2 people will be faster. Lu Wai Thursday offered. All right, for higher spots let me handle them.
So Fong split the rope, handing half to her. Sister Mon, this part is yours, I will go cook lunch. Van Han put down the cloth and said gently.
No problem, go ahead.
Lu Wai Mong waved her hand.
The girl washed her hands, took a ceramic pot, prepared some kudzu starch, and went upstairs. I wonder what it tastes like.
Van Han murmured, planning to use kudzu starch for lunch.
Back in the room, she placed the pot on the stove and squatted to light the fire. She leaned out the window and asked, Sister Thursday, how do we cook kudzu starch? Very simple, stir with some cooled boiled water first, then add hot water, stir quickly until it becomes translucent. Lu Wai Thursday explained clearly.
Before at the orphanage, the head had once bought lotus root powder, she and So Fong had watched the process. Thinking of that, she set the iron pot on the stove, poured water to boil, then cut a chunk of crocodile meat into thin slices.
Putting it into the pot.
She then added a wood ear mushroom, washed and cut into strips, cooking it together.
After that, she added cooled boiled water to the ceramic pot, stirred until smooth.
Meanwhile, the meat and mushroom in the pot were cooked. She added a spoon of salt, waited a little, then lifted the pot down. With one hand stirring the kudzu starch, with the other she poured the soup into the ceramic pot, mixing it together.
It smells so good.
Van Han's lashes trembled, the soup blended with the kudzu starch, turning translucent with meat and mushroom visible. She tasted a bit with chopsticks, nodded in satisfaction.
The flavor is not bad.
She put down the chopsticks, went to the window and called, So Fong, everyone come up for lunch, I cooked kudzu starch.
Coming.
Lu Wai Mong replied first.
All right, just a moment.
So Fong said gently, put down the wood, washed his hands in the stream. Back in the cabin, lunch was ready. The kudzu starch, mixed with meat and mushroom, looked delicious.
It looks very tasty.
Lu Wai Mong picked up a spoon eagerly.
Careful, it is hot. Van Han reminded. Ha, I am not afraid.
Lu Wai Mong said but still blew before eating.
How is the taste? Van Han asked
NK
curiously.
Books.
Chapter 616, Astonishing Effects. Lu Wai Mong happily gave a thumbs up, so delicious. This is the first time I have eaten meat with kudzu powder. Lu Wai Thursday nodded, scooping mouthful after mouthful. A natural chef. So Fong tasted a piece, winking at the girl. Eat more, there is still a lot.
Van Han sweetly said, her face full of pride, if not enough, I will cook more.
All right.
Van Han blushed and lowered her head.
The flavor is so rich, is it sold outside?
Lai Du Du praised endlessly. Such a pity, hopefully merchants can make it.
Lai Du sighed, turning to the camera.
In the live stream, comments flooded the screen. Got it, I have noted the process and ingredients, will soon start production.
Wait, where did you find crocodile meat?
Do not underestimate food lovers, within 3 days it will appear online.
With enough money, even dragons can be cooked. The same kind? I believe so. So Fong smiled. Then I will definitely buy.
Lai Du said joyfully.
Maybe someone will even invite you as their brand ambassador. Van Han laughed brightly. Then will there be free kudzu powder?
Lai Du asked eagerly. Of course, you are perfect for it.
So Fong nodded.
Why do you say so?
Lu Waimong asked curiously.
Ahem, kudzu has certain effects.
So Fong coughed shyly.
Kudzu roots are rich in natural isoflavones, which help regulate hormones, especially for those with low levels.
Really?
Lu Waimong and the girls froze, asking instinctively.
Sister, do not eat, let me have it all.
Lu Waimong tried to grab her sister's bowl. Forget it, eating more is useless.
Lu Wai Thursday chuckled, tapping her sister's head. If So Fong says it works, then it must be true.
Lu Waimong muttered sadly.
Van Han's mouth was stuffed full, her words unclear. This is fine too.
So Fong poked her cheek lovingly, no need to force any changes.
Men's words, all lies.
Van Han blushed, mumbling. So Fong twitched, the girl still cared.
The comments rained endlessly.
Little witch, fishballs times 10,086, I am buying kudzu and papaya, if it works I will send more gifts.
Rich one, try physical therapy too. Kudzu will drive countless women crazy, price increase is certain. I am going to the supermarket to stock up. Me too, I will surprise my wife. Are you sure? She might make you kneel on durians. So Fong, I think we will eat kudzu often these days.
Lu Wai Thursday said helplessly.
Agreed. So Fong sighed.
Eat slowly, no one will snatch it.
He laughed, patting the girl's back. So full.
Van Han set down her bowl, rubbing her stomach happily.
Are you full? So Fong asked gently. Yes, this time I am truly full.
Van Han nodded, saving on other things, but never food.
I am satisfied too.
Lu Waimong set down her bowl, resting before tidying up.
Lu Wai Thursday stood and cleaned dishes with her sister. Rest a bit, do not move too much.
So Fong advised.
Yes.
Remembering earlier, Van Han blushed and nodded.
Bald sea eagles hunt by day and rest by night, so Fong only needed to watch them in the morning.
Lu Wai Thursday finished cleaning and helped again.
Soon after, the girl joined, holding wood while So Fong and Lu Wai Thursday fixed it, working faster.
Nearly an hour later, the rabbit hutch was complete with a small gate.
Done, release the rabbits.
Van Han said excitedly.
I will catch them, you put hay inside, dampness is bad.
So Fong said gently.
Okay.
Lu Wai Thursday carried hay, while the girl followed So Fong to catch rabbits.
Time to use a little ability. So Fong whispered, a tingling spreading on his forehead, his wool sweeping out. The rabbits stopped, curling up motionless.
He bent down, lifting them by the ears with ease.
That simple? Van Han gasped. Do not stand stunned, put it in. So Fong laughed, tapping her cheek. Ah, yes.
Van Han confusedly took the rabbit, placing it into the cage. Each time, his domineering aura suppressed.
Them, none escaped. Chapter 617, Such good luck. Damn this weather, it is spring yet there is no cool breeze at all.
Zhao Lei grumbled as he walked, a log on his shoulder, trudging through the forest. Today was the 4th day since he and his brother left the bamboo grove, still chopping logs to build a shelter. After leaving the bamboo grove, they spent 1 day crossing a small mountain, then 2 more days before finding a water source on a distant hill. It was a small stream, strangely warm. In the end, they chose to camp by that stream and continue survival there. After dividing tasks, Zhao Lei stayed to build the frame, while Zhao Loi went out to chop logs and collect branches. Huff huff huff. Zhao Loi returned with logs, panting heavily, dropped them, then plopped down on a rock, unwilling to move. He looked at the pile of logs and frowned. This is still not enough. Before him stood an A-shaped frame, just big enough for 2 men to lie down. Go! Zhao Loi pouted, kept working, spread branches on the frame, then pressed logs on top to keep them in place. Growl growl. Zhao Lei's stomach rumbled so loud even his brother heard. Anything to eat? He grimaced. There, wild greens, cook them yourself. Zhao Loi pointed casually. I want meat. Zhao Lei stood, staring at the wilted greens in disgust. Then go hunting. Zhao Loi sneered. If I saw prey, would I need you to say it? NK Books. Zhao Lei snorted. First finish the shelter, then slowly search. Zhao Loi said firmly, he too wanted meat, but without shelter it felt unsafe. You got it wrong, without food where do I get strength to chop logs? Zhao Lei barked. He pursed his lips, asked, so what do you say? Go, let us hunt, tonight we must eat meat. Zhao Lei swallowed saliva. It sounds good, reality is cruel. Zhao Loi muttered. What did you say? Zhao Lei glared. I said hurry, hunt before dark. Zhao Loi glared back. They glared at each other, then both huffed coldly and walked out of camp. Where to hunt? Zhao Loi asked. No idea, step by step, treat it as exploration. Zhao Lei's voice eased. If only we catch a deer. Zhao Lei whispered, clutching his bow. A rabbit or lizard would already be lucky. Zhao Loi said angrily, deer are not everywhere. No ambition. Zhao Lei mocked. Zhao Loi clenched his teeth, anger rising. Stop talking, finding meat is most important. Zhao Lei added. Poof. Zhao Loi swung his chopping knife, clearing vines as if venting anger on his brother. The sun tilted west, light dimmed, forest darkened, less than 2 hours before night. It is getting late, do not go far. Zhao Loi reminded. Zhao Lei replied irritably. After over an hour they saw not even a bird. He suspected this place a forbidden zone for creatures. Step step. Crack crack. Rustle. Stop, something there. Zhao Lei whispered. What is it? Zhao Loi frowned, tightened his grip. Pheasant, I see a pheasant. Zhao Lei cried, pointing. Where? Zhao Loi tensed. Following his finger, about 50 meters ahead, a pheasant pecked leaves for food. Can you hit it? Zhao Loi asked. This is at least 50 meters, I cannot. Zhao Lei grumbled. Zhao Loi held his anger, whispered, let us creep closer, step lightly, do not scare it. Go. Zhao Lei drew an arrow, set the bow, advanced carefully. The pheasant kept pecking, unaware. The distance shrank, 50, 40, 30, 20 meters. Zhao Lei hesitated then moved. When just over 10 meters left, he released. Swish. The arrow flew, slicing air. Flap flap. The pheasant tried to flee. Thud. The chopping knife struck its head, killing it instantly. Cough, cough, lucky enough. Zhao Lei laughed awkwardly, picked his arrow. At least tonight we have something tasty. Zhao Loi said proudly. Stop gloating, hurry back and light the fire before dark. Zhao Lei scolded. Yes, yes. Zhao Loi smiled, too lazy to argue, saving strength to eat pheasant. Seems after leaving Shenji High, we live even better. Zhao Lei chuckled. Of course, now we have meat. Zhao Loi smiled too. After over half a month they finally had meat again.
Maybe. Zhao Loi replied casually. Chapter 618, Cook some meat again?
In the wooden cabin on the mountain slope, the Nan sisters were packing their belongings.
Sister, should we take this? Nan Nu Nok raised a wooden bucket.
Take it, we do not have much stuff, making another bucket would be troublesome. Nan Ton Nok thought for a moment and spoke softly. They were preparing to leave tomorrow, heading directly to the new camp to start survival life.
Wait, we have not had dinner yet. Nan Ton Nok smiled. Right, I forgot because I was busy.
Nan Nu Nok stuck out her tongue and quickly pulled the bowls and chopsticks out of the bucket.
You keep packing, I will cook dinner. Nan Ton Nok stood up with a smile.
She picked up the iron pot, filled it with water, hung it on the wooden hook, then took the wild vegetables dug earlier, cut off the wilted roots, washed them, and broke them into pieces into the pot.
This bag too, and the straw shoes, still unused. Nan Nu Nok muttered while putting items into a large vine bag.
Nan Ton Nok pressed her lips, took the last piece of salted meat, hesitated, then cut it all into the pot.
Sister, are we eating all the meat? Nan Nu Nok asked.
Yes, if left it will spoil, the weather is hotter.
Nan Ton Nok answered gently.
But father smoked meat that lasted months.
Nan Nu Nok questioned.
That was cured with salt, but we have none. Nan Ton Nok explained softly.
Right, I even forgot what salty tastes like. Nan Nu Nok smiled and said, adding more wild vegetables is not bad either. All right.
Nan Ton Nok sighed, knowing vegetables could not hide the blandness, especially unsalted meat boiled in plain water. She found wild mint, crushed it, added juice into the pot, then sliced wild ginger inside to remove odor. The water boiled, she removed the pot from the hook.
Done.
Nan Nu Nok replied, holding the clay figurine her sister gave, a birthday gift half a month ago, rough yet loved.
Yes, tonight may be our last here, eat well before leaving.
Nan Ton Nok spoke softly. She scooped soup for her sister, giving most meat to her bowl.
Sister, I cannot eat that much meat. Nan Nu Nok quickly returned some for balance. You are still growing, eat more.
Nan Ton Nok said firmly.
But you are only a few years older, you also need it. Nan Nu Nok pouted.
Nan Ton Nok sighed, stroked her sister's hair, and whispered, eat, once settled, I will hunt.
Yes, I will help you. Nan Nu Nok nodded. Good.
Nan Ton Nok smiled, comforted her sister was brighter.
Sister, we still have the rabbit, if no meat, we can eat it. Nan Nu Nok glanced at the wooden cage, the rabbit's eyes glowing red in firelight.
Keep it, as long as we endure, otherwise raising it is useless.
Nan Ton Nok smiled sadly. I know. She breathed deep, feeling sorrow. Sister, what is wrong? Nan Nu Nok asked with concern. Nothing, later I will catch more rabbits for you. Nan Ton Nok smiled faintly. Yes. Nan Nu Nok bowed, eating wild vegetables though tasteless, but survival demanded it.
Elsewhere, in another cabin, So Fong's group sat around the table with dinner prepared by Van Han.
Indeed. Lu Wai Thursday muttered, looking at kudzu porridge in ceramic bowls.
I added walnuts, coconut, and mushrooms, try it.
Van Han carefully served. Great, it must be delicious. Lai Du praised, blowing on her bowl and eating with joy. How is it? Van Han asked nervously.
I think it could be sold outside, the flavor is rich, truly tasty. Lai Du loved it, eating another spoon.
Seems not bad.
So Fong smiled, tasting.
Delicious, walnuts crunchy, coconut fragrant. Lu Wai Mong chewed happily. If tasty, eat more. Van Han smiled, suggesting, shall I cook a late snack tonight, adding honey to make dessert? Right, tomorrow morning we cook again. Van Han agreed. How about cooking some meat too?
So Fong suggested, looking at the ceramic jar, as today had no meat or vegetables.
Haha, of course. Van Han replied innocently. Lu Wai Thursday silently praised So Fong. Knowing too much, kudzu became cloying. Another bowl. Lu Wai Mong quickly asked. Me too. Lai Du Du reached out, clearly conquered. Chapter 619, The PE Teacher Teaches. Ah. Step, step, step. Van Han carried a small bamboo basket with toothbrush, toothpaste and towel, then pushed the door and went downstairs. Brush, brush, brush. She brushed her teeth while walking, foam still clinging to her lips. Clop, clop, clop. Why am I still so sleepy? Van Han wiped her pretty face with a wet towel. She glanced at the lounge chair in the yard and murmured, just a short nap, only a short nap. She lay down, closed her eyes, and soon her breathing was even. Creak. After a while, another door opened, so Fong stretched and went downstairs. Seeing the sunlight on the sleeping girl, he froze, like a fairy tale princess. He regained himself, picked up a basket and went to wash. Lu Wai Thursday yawned, carried her washing kit, went downstairs and to the brook. She saw Van Han asleep and greeted So Fong, morning. Good morning. So Fong replied. Let her sleep a bit more. He said gently. Last night they played mahjong until midnight, and waking early made them drowsy. So Fong rinsed and said softly, Today I will cook breakfast. Good idea. Lu Wai Thursday smiled. So Fong smiled and went to prepare the iron pot. Van Han, morning. Lai Du Du lifted her camera and filmed the just awakened girl. Good morning. Van Han blushed, startled by the lens. So Fong said there will be breakfast, so get up. Lai Du Du said kindly. Okay. Van Han sniffed and smelled meat, so he cooked today? Sit down, eat and sleep later. So Fong said warmly. No sleep. Van Han replied innocently. She looked at the table and asked, Is there kudzu porridge? Of course. So Fong nodded toward the kitchen. He made 2 dishes, mushroom meat stew and sweet kudzu with honey and brown sugar. Looks nice. Van Han carried the pot. Try the taste. So Fong said. Okay. Van Han scooped a bowl, tasted, then smiled, delicious, sweet. Sweet things bring joy. So Fong murmured. I will try too. Lu Wai Mong said. They ate silently. Kudzu could not replace rice because it was sticky when much eaten. So Fong, what today? Lu Wai Mong asked. Check the hive, honey is gone. So Fong replied. I go too. She said. I want a film, I go too. Lai Du Du added. Then you all be careful, I cannot go. Van Han advised. I will stay with her. Lu Wai Thursday said. Okay. So Fong patted her head. After breakfast, he packed to leave. If you meet a bear, run, do not force. Van Han said. Okay, I listen. He nodded. Return early, if late I will search. She said firmly. Yes, I promise before dark. He swore with 3 fingers. He waved and left. Sis, I go. Lu Wai Mong said. Be safe. Lu Wai Thursday said. Got it. Lu Wai Mong and Lai Du Du followed. What now? Lu Wai Thursday asked. Dig beans. Van Han said. Okay. She went with her. Step, step, step. So Fong carried his basket, crossed the brook toward the hive. On the way the girls chatted but kept pace. At about 3 hours they reached the old site, overgrown with weeds. This way. He led. Do not worry, the bear may not be here. He said. Better be careful. Lu Waimong said. Better be careful? What does it mean? Lai Du asked.
It means if careful, safe for long.
Lu Waimong explained. So Fong grimaced. So that is it. NK Lai Du nodded. Yes. Lu Waimong said. Ah.
How do you know? My literature teacher was often sick, so the PE teacher taught instead.
She said. Chapter 620, The Lurking Bear. Of course not. So Fong chuckled, glancing at Lu Waimong. Then what does it mean?
Lu Waimong blushed and asked softly. It is a proverb. The full line is, carefulness can catch 1,000 cicadas, carefulness can sail 1,000 years.
So that is the meaning.
Lu Waimong playfully stuck out her tongue, then turned to explain to Lai Du. So Fong saw Lai Du's puzzled face and thought that language was vast, not so easy to grasp. He turned and walked ahead, the distance to the hive still more than half an hour, and the path was blocked by branches and vines, so the pace could not be fast. Indeed, nearly an hour later, the three arrived near the hive, and above their heads hovered swarms of bees.
Are we there? Lu Waimong asked nervously. This was her first time coming with So Fong to the hive.
Yes, you two wait here, I will go ahead to check, I will be back soon.
So Fong instructed. But those are bees.
Lu Waimong shrank her neck in fear.
As long as you do not provoke them, they will not sting you.
So Fong reminded gently.
Really? Lai Du asked doubtfully.
Yes, stand still, do not chase them, if danger comes then burn dry grass to make smoke.
So Fong repeated firmly. All right, but be careful.
Lu Waimong said with concern, holding down her fear. A few minutes later, the familiar scene appeared, the cracked boulders still there, the hive and the rock crevice intact, storms had not harmed it. So Fong carefully observed the surroundings, weeds were dense, some trampled down, broken grass pressed to the ground.
Looks like bears have come often. He murmured, noticing fresh bear droppings not yet dry. He hesitated and turned toward another side of the hive, where a path was left by frequent bear movements.
Meanwhile, Lai Du and Lu Waimong stood waiting, watching the bees circling above nervously.
Shall we light a fire?
Lai Du suggested softly, still fearful of bees.
Yes, a good idea.
Lu Waimong's dark eyes brightened. She had a firestone, starting a fire was not hard. She quickly cleared a patch of ground, piled dry grass and struck sparks to ignite.
Crackle!
The dry grass burned, sparks flew, thick smoke rose and drove away the bees.
Buzz buzz.
The bees scattered, only a few stunned in the smoke.
The effect is not bad.
Lu Waimong breathed easier, then looked toward So Fong's direction, muttering, I wonder if he will meet a bear. Waimong, I do not know if he meets a bear, but we have trouble. Lai Du's trembling voice came.
What?
Lu Waimong turned back, her body stiffened, her lips quivered. Less than 50 meters away, a bear was staring at them, the bushes could not hide its body. The bear curiously watched, as if seeing humans standing upright for the first time, hesitating whether to attack. In the observation room, Ha Min and the others grew tense.
Oh my God, the bear really appeared.
No Tin Noyet exclaimed, her heart tightened. The director has arranged, but the rescue team needs more time. Ha Min said gravely, the bear was no joke, with no fence or cabin to block its attack.
How long? No Tin Noyet asked anxiously.
Hearing the director in the headset, Ha Min forced a bitter smile, about 20 minutes.
More than 20 minutes? By then the meal will be cold.
No Tin Noyet shouted angrily.
Will someone die? Von Lam took a deep breath. Von Lam fell silent, unable to speak further. What can we do now?
No Tin Noyet asked worriedly.
Right, where is So Fong? Te Vai Din suddenly remembered, turning to Ha Min. What now, should we run?
Lai Du panicked, the camera trembling in her hand.
What should we do? She struggled to resist the urge to flee. That morning after breakfast, So Fong had explained many precautions, most about what to do if facing a bear. Will that work? Lai Dudu asked blankly. This is what So Fong taught, whether it works or not we must try. Lu Weimon's legs trembled, her heart filled with fear, she cried silently, So Fong. Where are you? All right. Lai Dudu swallowed nervously, followed Lu Weimon's words, spread her legs, raised her arms,
NK
and shouted
Books.
loudly.